Good morning, everybody. It's day 2 on my little project, and so I'm just going to show you cutting. I'm going to cut the edge of this out. You can see there's a gap here, and right here it's blue underneath. So this is a little bit of reverse applique that I'm working on. So actually I'd like to be able to see this edge. So sometimes I have to just go a little bit at a time. So what I'm going to do is just cut this out, which is the first time I've ever tried to do this in front of a camera, so I don't know how this is going to come out. But I figure try to do it so that you can see. For years, I kept all of my edges as straight as possible. Now I'm finding that my sensibility has changed, and I love cutting around these. Sometimes I don't cut it all because I want to see what it's like. Here I'm going to leave right there. I'm going to leave some of this green. I may end up cutting this later, but for now I'm just cutting the parts that I know that I want to take away. It's one of those things. It's like adding salt when you're baking. You can definitely always take more off, but you definitely can't add more in. So if I pull this around like so, I know that I want to go all the way around these leaves. So this piece is really big. It's going into a house in Clarksville, Tennessee, one of these days. And the other thing is that every single one of these little tiny pieces, like you see this, I'll end up using this somewhere. The noise is the heater in the shop. So I'm in Stony Creek, Tennessee, and right now it's probably 60 degrees or so. I spent about an hour this morning clearing out the space in my outside studio because I'm getting ready to do an outdoor video. Those of you that have been following me know that I'm learning how to make videos, so that noise in the background may stay and it may not stay. I will not know until it's time. So you can see here, I'm just cutting the last of this green off. Probably going to end up, you can see in there, I'm going to end up probably trimming that more, but I want to get this off first. Okay, now get all that out of the way. And now I'm straightening this back out. So you can see now, I have to be careful when I start doing this because it's something new that I haven't done before, which is the fact that this gap is an attachment of the top and the bottom of a much, much larger thing. So I'm actually going to pull it down here. Here. And now you can see I am looking at this connection right here. And I think I'd like to take just a tiny bit more out of here. But I'm going to leave some of this green too. So I'm just going to take that off of there. I know this doesn't seem like it's a lot, but that's a metaphor for life. That could be, say you were a machinist and you were making a race car engine. That's a big tolerance, that little tiny bit spot of color. I'm not making a race car engine, I'm making artwork, but I think just a little more off of here too. Oh, I like that much better. I can see a huge difference there. My next decision, of course, is going to be what to have behind this, but that's going to be a different video because I've got to move a lot of stuff. Right now I'm going to pin this so you get to see that next step. And then the next thing I'll do here is I'll stitch this all down. So if you've watched many of my videos, you've seen how many pins I use. If you haven't, it's your first introduction to it. I use a lot of pins because this stuff moves around a lot. And this is such a big piece that every little tiny, there's a lot of pull on it when I start, because in order to stitch it, I've got to bunch it up, and sometimes I've got to climb right up on the table and do it. So I really anchor it in many, many places. Going underneath here, make sure. So there's actually, oh, and I'll show you, because I know I'm going to be doing some of this away. So like under here, there's more of this. Under here, there's more of this lavender. Just so you understand this process, because I was planning on doing this anyways. You're like, oh, she's cutting a hole in there. But what I'm doing, yeah, I am cutting a hole, but there's something behind the hole. So I'll just make a little one so you can see. I've got to be really careful of how much of this I really end up cutting away. I just want to do enough. How do I put it? Well, if you know anything about the pointillist, they have many, many, many different marks, and you can end up, it's kind of like weaving too. If I'm not careful, I have to leave, I know I'm kind of falling over my words here, but what I'm trying to say is you have to leave some larger areas of color. This entire piece is 6 feet by 11 feet or something like that. So if I break it up so much that it's all little tiny pieces, it'll go gray, just like mixing paint. So what's happening in the eye is optical mixing. But the reason that I cut this out is because it's making a shadow behind this blade of grass. The theme of this is it's a quarry wall, and I'm on this part of this piece, I'm wanting to get the feel of the plants crawling up the wall, of the vines and the shadows behind them. And it's just that sensibility. So I'm selectively cutting away different bits. I'm in the final stages of this piece, and it's taken me as long to do these last little bits as it took to do the whole huge thing. And I know I've been talking about this a lot, and one day you'll see all of it, but not till the client sees it. Anyway, now that's ready to stitch. So if you liked this, please like and subscribe to my channel. If you want to do a free stitch meditation, you can find one at carollebarondies.com, and you can try finding more about me at www.followcarollebaron.com. Have a great day.